So ladies and gentlemen, there's no question about it. The Dallas Cowboys want to add another wide receiver on this team. You lose Noah Brown, you now just have CeeDee Lamb, Michael Gallup, and then everybody else. And you can argue everybody else starts with Michael Gallup because we don't know where he's going to be post-ACL injury. We're hearing the names of Jerry Jeudy, Brandon Cooks, DeAndre Hopkins, OBJ. We're hearing positive conversations. The Cowboys have inquired. We're here to talk about if these scenarios play out, what could compensation look like, what would that mean for the Cowboys, how would this make the wide receiving core look, and is this a move that the Cowboys should make for each in particular receiver? Of course, I'm going to say yes to all of them, but we need to have a deeper dive of who would be more important than the other. So in today's video, we're going to go over each trade scenario. If the Cowboys were to trade for a particular player, what would that mean for the team and what they would give up, and all that other stuff. So sit back, relax, and let's dive straight into it. Now, before we get started with today's video, if you guys could do me a solid favor and hit the like button, that'd be greatly appreciated. Also, subscribe if you're new, and hit the notification bell as well. Over 80% of you guys watching are not subscribed. The average has continued to drop. Let's keep up that great work. Thank you so much for the support, guys. Hit the subscribe button and notification bell if you are not subscribed, or getting notified when stuff comes out so you don't miss out on it when it comes out. Now, as mentioned in the introduction, what we're going to do is go over 4 scenarios that the Cowboys have been linked to with certain players, and from least likely to most likely, what could that cost the Cowboys in terms of trade compensation or an average APY if they sign a particular free agent, which you all know what I'm referring to. And we're going to just go over what that player would mean, the pros and cons, and all that other stuff. So with that being said, guys, let's get into this. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, breaking news. It is now official. The Dallas Cowboys have acquired Jerry Jeudy in a trade with the Denver Broncos, and in exchange, the Dallas Cowboys have sent their second-round pick and Dorrance Armstrong to make the deal work per the Broncos' demands. And now, CeeDee Lamb gets paired up with Jerry Jeudy, his draft mate, and hopefully to have a nice young tandem there with Michael Gallup in the mix. And while the Cowboys will be having control of Jerry Jeudy for the next 2 years, since him and CeeDee Lamb were a part of the same draft class, they're going to get paid the same time. So the question is this a 2-year rental, or are they going to look to extend him? Tell me what you guys would think about if that is what took place. The Cowboys traded for Jerry Jeudy. For me, I have some doubts about this trade. However, the roadmap works like this. If the Dallas Cowboys acquire Jerry Jeudy, you are getting a younger receiver. In fact, both him and Lamb are the same age. They were born in the same year and month, in April. So you have to think, okay, you're going to get 2 young guys. Here is the kicker for everything. You have 2 years until he becomes a free agent. You know, you have this final year, his 5th-year option, and then the unrestricted free agency. So are you going to keep him and sign him to a big long-term contract, or are you going to let him walk and get a comp pick for it, which could be the Cowboys' case? And I don't think Jerry Jeudy would be a 2-year rental. You would kind of think, okay, with the production he's put out, you might be looking at signing him to a nice cheap contract because he hasn't really proven himself, and you can attribute that to several factors, him being in Denver with a bad offense, a bad quarterback, etc., etc. But that's the conversation you're going to have. If you take Jerry Jeudy and you give up that draft compensation, you're not taking a wide receiver. And to me, I'm not really big on the Jerry Jeudy train. However, I can understand it. But you had to factor in those things. You're getting a guy that's young. You're getting a guy that's going to be playing with a much better quarterback. Let's keep that in mind, and be in a better offensive system than what Denver is running. I understand Sean Payton's there now, but again, maybe he needs a fresh start. But differing with what happened with Amari, because Amari proved himself while he was with the Raiders, Jerry Jeudy hasn't really shown up and shown out a lot of times. So, who knows? Just tell me what you guys would think. For me, that's going to be the number 4 of likelihood and if I would want it. So let's move on to number 3. Alrighty, guys, it is now official. Breaking news. The Dallas Cowboys have acquired Brandon Cooks from the Houston Texans in exchange for a 4th-round pick. The market has deflated for Brandon Cooks, and the Cowboys were trying to get him last year, but compensation and who would take the dead money was a big factor in that deal not being done. They make it work this go around, and the Cowboys are getting a productive receiver for their offense who has gotten 1,000 yards really wherever he's gone. And while he's on the older side and a solid veteran, the Cowboys get their guy. Tell me what you guys would think if the Cowboys did get Brandon Cooks. For me, this is a nice veteran addition, kind of in the tier of a Stephon Gilmore type of move, where you're getting a guy who's on the older side. Is he an elite player at the position or can peak at elite levels? No, but he's going to be a guy that provides you something that you really don't have, and that's consistency at the wide receiver position from everybody else. Yes, you have CeeDee Lamb and what he can do. Gallup is up and down. We know where Jalen Tolbert and everybody else is at, but you know what you're getting in Brandon Cooks. You're getting a guy that can get 1,000 yards and give you solid production. Point blank period. It's going to be a decent cap hit for the next couple years, but once he's gone, maybe he goes and gets you a comp pick, or you re-sign him to a cheaper deal if you want to keep him there. I would like the Cowboys to possibly acquire him. It would be one of the cheaper moves for the Cowboys to send a pick for. And honestly, you're getting a guy, again, that's been consistent. Not elite, but consistent. So keep that in mind with you getting Brandon Cooks. And tell me, would you like Brandon Cooks? So this is the third on my list when it comes to what the Cowboys can do and what they should do type of thing. So let's go ahead and move straight forward into number 2. Ladies and gentlemen, it has happened. The Dallas Cowboys drop a tactical nuke on the entire NFL in their blockbuster trade with the Arizona Cardinals to acquire DeAndre Hopkins. The Dallas Cowboys send the Cardinals a third-round pick in 2023 and a conditional fifth-round pick in 2024 to complete the transaction. On top of that, with Nuke Hopkins and his representation, they managed to rework his contract and they work out the dead money to get the Cowboys to get under the salary cap to make the trade happen. And now, him, CeeDee Lamb, and Michael Gallup form a formidable trio that is going to be fun to watch as Dak Prescott gets his new weapon at the wide receiver position. The Cowboys can now go into the 2023 NFL Draft and go best player available, most likely, at pick 26. What do you guys think if the Cowboys traded for DeAndre Hopkins? I'm telling you right now, this would be a hell of a move for the Cowboys, and this would be the all-in move if I've ever seen one. The Cowboys trading for DeAndre Hopkins is going to be something, if it does happen, it would send shockwaves throughout the entire NFL. It would tell people that the Cowboys are going all in for 2023. They see the opening in the conference and they're trying to capitalize on it. Realistically, the Cowboys in their division, you have Philadelphia, who has been losing pieces left and right, but they should be fine with their draft capital. You have the Giants building up and they're going to get better. Then you also have San Francisco in the conference. So the Cowboys really don't have a lot of full-on competition. We'll see how teams do. Right? We have to see how they do. But the Cowboys are, capitalizing on a window that has opened for them. The NFC is weak. I have said on Twitter Spaces and on this channel, the Cowboys have a 3-year window to capitalize on what's going on. If they don't do that, that's it. You're not winning a championship with your quarterback or this particular core. Now's the time to say now or never. And it looks like the Cowboys are trying to do that. Dak Prescott said the urgency needs to be there in his recent interview when he was out and about doing charity work. And I feel it. The Cowboys are adding pieces, and I think that this would be an indicator that Dallas is going all in. And they want to get to that Super Bowl in Las Vegas. Now, will they? We'll see, but they have to make the move. I think that this move would be perfect considering the fact that, you're only going to have 2 more years on the deal unless you extend him or whatever the case may be. But you don't have to. This is the all-in move. If it doesn't work out in 2 years, then you can just let him walk and you can just go from there. So this isn't really a bad, trade. It's just what are you going to give up to acquire him? That's all the Cowboys have to figure out. And I think with what has been going on and what's been said, a lot of these teams that are interested in all these wide receivers, they're just waiting for someone to make the move because they don't know what the market is. Jalen Ramsey really set the market as, okay, it's a 3rd-round pick or above. And you can maybe get DeAndre Hopkins for a 4th, but I think it's going to take 2 picks. I'm going to say it's going to take a 3rd-round pick and a conditional pick in either this draft or the next draft. Well, it has to be the next draft. What am I talking about? Of course. But look, the Cowboys need to make a move so that they can finally say we are going all in. We're getting our weapons. We're going to go into the draft, get our guys, and boom, we're going to make this run in 2023. If the Cowboys were to make this move, I think we're having completely different conversations. My pessimistic ass would shut the fuck up and this front office would tell me, hey, you know what? They're being serious. And I would gladly eat the crow. So, with that, let's move on to our final scenario. Well, ladies and gentlemen, Jerry Jones gets his guy. The Dallas Cowboys have signed Odell Beckham Jr. to a 3-year, $40 million contract with guarantees yet to be determined, but from what's being reported, it's basically a 2-year deal with an option year in year 3. The Cowboys, specifically Jerry Jones, gets the guy he desperately wanted to help get the final piece to the puzzle to maybe push the Cowboys over that divisional round wall. And with him coming off that ACL injury, many people question the Cowboys signing him and if it's a good move. But Jerry Jones is trying to gun for that championship, and he gets that guy, pairing him alongside CeeDee Lamb and Michael Gallup, who's also trying to get back to full health from the ACL injury. It looks like the Cowboys are set to make a run in 2023 with Odell Beckham Jr. The question is, what will his impact look now that he'll be returning to the gridiron? What would you guys think if the Cowboys acquired Odell Beckham Jr.? In the comment section below, grade what you would think about these scenarios, or is there another guy that you're interested in? Look, the reason Odell's number 1 on this list, not saying I would 110% want him in the sense of who else is out there. It's just you can make the money work with Odell, and you don't have to give up any assets in the draft. And to be real with you, it really goes down to what your ultimate projection of where you think this team's at. I think if you're trying to look maybe another year down the line, go get Odell. But if you're trying to go all in, go get DeAndre Hopkins. I think that this would be one of the deals where you aren't super strapped for cash, but still, you're going to be paying a nice premium. And if he's looking for Michael Gallup money, and by the way, the market has deflated because of Jacoby Myers and him being signed, and also Juju being signed, so it's around like 11. So I would think that Odell probably signs for maybe between 10 to 15. I understand they're looking for 15 to 20, but I think that's deterring a lot of teams from signing him. I think that you get a guy that's going to add an element of speed, and you need that. You desperately need that. Now, I understand you got a guy like Kevontae Turpin on the team, but we're talking about a guy that fits the measurables for what the Cowboys want in a receiver, and you're not asking him to be the number 1. And you can say that about all the other receivers we mentioned in all the scenarios. You're just asking them to be productive 2s or 3s next to Gallup and Lamb. If you can do that, you got yourself a damn good trio there. And it just annoys me because you could have just kept Amari Cooper, but whatever. This would right the wrong of the Amari Cooper trade. You go out and trade or acquire Odell Beckham. Now, there's a lot of holdup because a lot of these teams are in standoff mode because they don't know who to sign or how much to sign and who's going to make the first move. And then it's like, oh shit, we got to go get this guy. That's where we're right now at, guys. That's why things are taking so long. We've been hearing conversations that the Cowboys are interested. They're having these conversations. This is going to drag out for a little bit because a lot of these teams are also interested and they're trying to figure out where to go, who's going to fall, who they have to make a rush to go sign. However, if it's a bidding war, Dallas is probably not going to go higher than $13 million. And a lot of that's probably going to be like, it's going to be how, if you look at Donovan Wilson's contract, it's not going to be a massive cap hit the first year, but like the second and third year, it's going to be a bigger cap hit. But I think that's really what more people are worried about is when you can get out of the contract. And so if you sign Odell, I think that for me, a 3-year deal makes sense. He might be looking for a 4-year, but if it's like a 4-year deal, I think it's going to be like, okay, well, we'll sign you to really a 2-year deal, but the 2 other years are option years. And that's where I think the Cowboys stand there. These are all the trade scenarios and the free agent acquisition that I could see happening for the Cowboys because these are the names that have been linked. The question is do they get it done? You know, if things don't pan out there, they might just use this money to re-sign some of their guys, which is stupid because with extensions, you can just push the money down the road. But that's important. They need to get stuff done. So I think that if you do go after Odell, if you do go after DeAndre Hopkins, it can deter some of these guys not to sign yet because they could be like, okay, at least the Cowboys are going all in. I can hold off on signing, but I would still be a bit more proactive there. And also the Cowboys can open up more cap space if needed by, cutting some players or moving, again, money around. They can push some levers and buttons and stuff like that. But that's where we stand. So those are all the trade scenarios. Please tell me what you guys think down below in the comment section of these scenarios. What do you like? What you don't like? What would you do? What would you not do? And suggest some more. And with that, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Please make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're new, and hit the notification bell. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. All right, guys, have a good one. Goodbye.